We went to a different restaurant. Juliet likes to hang out at food spots, and she wanted to take the twins with them, and then the twins wanted me to tag along with them. That was how we all found ourselves eating in a not-so-fancy place than the one we had gone last time. That was fine by me. I didn't want to bump into Ronan or one of his men waiting for me to show up so they can do God knows what. I didn't even want to come here in the first place, and I was so scared he would discover me. I wonder if he would check all the restaurants in the city, but then decided that he wasn't that stupid or desperate. Plastic surgery was increasingly becoming a very attractive choice. At least if I had a plastic surgery, maybe I won't even need to go through all these struggles. I wonder how much a plastic surgery costs.
You aren't eating. Are you worried that he might drop by here today too?
I shook my head. I'm just not hungry, Juliet. Laughing, she began to pack her leftovers away. I smiled with her, but my mind wandered far and wide. Was I actually scared that he would see me here? Would he be checking all restaurants now? Do I have to avoid him for the rest of my life? Or what? I dropped the piece of fries that I managed to pick up. You know what? I just lost my appetite. Can we go? She looked at me with a pitiful doe eyes before nodding.
Yes, sure. Let's go, boys.
She placed a few bucks on the table and stopped me from doing the same. I'd have to find a way to pay her back. People tend to look at me with 2 children and automatically think I'm suffering. Well, yeah, I'm suffering, but not in the way they assumed it. I was suffering emotional and physical touch, period.
Why are you hiding from your ex-husband?
Juliet suddenly asked. I looked at her sharply, then at the boys. Luckily, their ears were plugged with a headset that was connected to my tablet. They were using it to watch kiddies' movies. After making sure that they won't overhear this conversation, I glanced at Juliet. You can't say stuff like that outside.
Why the hell not?
Because... I exhaled sharply, deciding to go with the truth. Juliet, they are his kids. She was driving, so she quickly glanced at the boys through her rearview mirror. Juliet was shocked.
His kids?
They are his, and he should never know. If he finds out, he's going to take them away from me. I sniffed in order to stop the tears from coming. He's going to take my sweet boys from me, Juliet. Juliet drummed the steering wheel with her fingers, now feeling guilty.
I'm sorry, Eleni. I promise I won't say a single word. I promise.
He has a fiancée now. I want nothing to do with him, and I want him to have nothing to do with my kids. Juliet nodded, too shocked to say a word. I don't blame her, really. She was one of those few friends of mine, before I lost them all. That is, that knew that my marriage with Ronan had hit a rocky start before it even sailed. There was not a single piece in there, so to think that children would come out of that mess was quite challenging. In the quiet ride of the car, I began to think of schools. Bringing them to Fuller City, just to get an education, suddenly put me in a spot. They were boys, kids, and no matter how brilliant they were, they should be with other kids and mean social experiment. Also, with the new place that I would start work in, I don't think I'll have that much time to play with my kids. Are there any nice kindergarten schools around? She had reached the house by now. She parked at a nice angle and beamed at me.
So no more at institutions.
Yeah, I think they're too young to be going for stuff to do things to their brain. I'm just so worried and so stressed. You know, the first person who I see when I entered Fuller City was Ronan. If that isn't enough bad luck, I don't know what is. Her hair flew in her mouth, and while he tried to get it out alongside her laughter, it looked funny. I started to laugh. It sounded dry and humorless, like I hadn't laughed in ages and don't know what it feels like. Am I going to avoid this guy forever? Juliet smiled and opened the back car door so Jackson and Kyle can run up to their rooms. Left alone with me, she tucked stray hair behind my hair.
Listen, Eleni, don't worry about it, yeah? I've got you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, but I can't keep needing your help.
It's not a help. It's really nothing. And speaking of kindergarten, I know of a place.
My eyes suddenly lit up. You do?
Yes. I invested with them a while back, so you have a discount on any child you bring.
She winked at me.
Just tell them you're from me and a whopping 20% will be taken off the school fees.
I beamed, my eyes tearing up with joy. You're the best, Juliet.
Oh, please. I'm sure you would have done the same for me.
She patted my back and walked up to her room, too. I remained downstairs, still debating between the institution on a school. The only flaw was the social relation, which I could not compromise. At the end, I decided to just stick with schools. The institutions will come when they are older.